More than 50 years after its release, Where Eagles Dare, 1968, remains a standout in the World War II action genre, boasting an unforgettable cast led by Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood. But where are the stars now? Some became Hollywood legends, while others left us too soon. Now let's take a look at the cast of Where Eagles Dare then and now, because, well, time has not been kind to everyone. Clint Eastwood as Lieutenant Morris Schaffer. Clint Eastwood was born on May 31, 1930, in San Francisco, California. At the age of 38, he stepped into the boots of Lieutenant Morris Schaffer in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, portraying a stoic, highly skilled American Ranger who teams up with Major John Smith for a daring World War II rescue mission. His rugged charm and no-nonsense attitude made him a standout in this action-packed classic. This role was just a glimpse of his enduring legacy, later defined by iconic performances as the tough-as-nails cop in Dirty Harry, 1971, the enigmatic gunslinger in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966, and the Oscar-winning Unforgiven, 1992, which he directed and starred in. Off-screen, Eastwood's personal life has been just as eventful, with 2 marriages, Maggie Johnson, 1953 to 1984, and Dina Ruiz, 1996 to 2014, and 8 children, including some from relationships outside marriage, like his turbulent 14-year partnership with actress Sandra Locke. Now, at 94 years old, Eastwood still kicking, directing films and defying age with that trademark grit. Richard Burton as Major John Smith. Richard Burton was born on November 10, 1925, in Pontrydyffryn, Wales. At 43, he took on the role of Major John Smith in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, playing a cunning British officer leading a high-stakes mission behind enemy lines. His commanding presence and rich voice made him unforgettable. Before this role, Burton earned 7 Oscar nominations, shining in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, 1966, alongside Elizabeth Taylor and delivering a haunting performance in Equus, 1977. However, his personal life is not the same as his career. His romance with Elizabeth Taylor was the stuff of tabloid dreams, married twice.
Major Smith will lead the group in. Now you're all expert at survival.
Burton had 4 marriages total, including to Sybil Williams, with whom he had 2 daughters. But his hard-drinking lifestyle took a toll. He battled alcoholism for years.
When you get inside, circulate around. We meet back here in half an hour.
He passed away on August 5, 1984, at 58, in Séligny, Switzerland, from a cerebral hemorrhage. Mary Ure as Mary Ellison. Mary Ure was born on February 18, 1933, in Glasgow, Scotland. At 35, she brought Mary Ellison to life in Where Eagles Dare, 1968. A courageous and resourceful agent who aids Major Smith and Lieutenant Schaffer. Ure's Ellison is no damsel. She's sharp, skilled, and vital to the mission's success, navigating danger with grit and grace. Her performance added a layer of depth to the ensemble. Outside this wartime epic, Ure shone in Sons and Lovers, 1960, earning an Oscar nod, and captivated theater audiences in Look Back in Anger, 1959. In her personal life, Ure's life was marked by love and loss. She married playwright John Osborne in 1957, but their union ended in 1963. Later, she wed actor Robert Shaw, with whom she had 4 children, finding some stability. But struggles with alcohol and depression shadowed her. Tragically, she died on April 3, 1975, at 42, in London, England, from an accidental overdose of alcohol and barbiturates.
You were late.
One day I won't come at all.
Keep your eye on those 3.
Patrick Wymark as Colonel Wyatt Turner. Patrick Wymark was born on July 11, 1926, in Cleethorpes, England. At 42, he portrayed Colonel Wyatt Turner in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, a high-ranking officer orchestrating the covert rescue mission. Wymark's Turner exudes authority and intrigue, pulling strings from above as the commandos risk it all. His strong screen presence elevated the film's tension. He also starred in The Planemakers, 1963 to 1965, a hit TV series where he played a ruthless exec and brought gravitas to the power game, 1965 to 1969. Beyond the screen, Wymark's life had its own drama. He married American playwright Olwen Wymark in 1953, and they had 4 children. But his health faltered. He struggled with weight and heart issues.
The heat's getting you down.
On October 20th, 1970, at just 44, he suffered a fatal heart attack in Melbourne, Australia. Michael Hordern as Vice Admiral Rowland. Michael Hordern was born on October 3, 1911, in Berkhamsted, England. At 57, he played Vice Admiral Rowland in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, a senior British officer pivotal in planning the perilous rescue. Hordern's distinguished voice and commanding air made Rowland a figure of quiet power. Before playing this role, he stole scenes in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, 1966, and brought depth to countless Shakespearean roles on stage, earning him a knighthood in 1983.
Understood. Do you have it? Over.
Beyond his career, Hordern's world was grounded yet touched by sorrow. He married Eve Mortimer in 1943, and they had 1 daughter.
General Eisenhower might well launch his second front against us rather than against the Germans.
However, he faced kidney disease in his later years, which slowed him down. He passed away on May 2, 1995, at 83 in Oxford, England. Robert Beatty as Brigadier General George Carnes. Robert Beatty was born on October 19, 1909, in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. At 58, he portrayed Brigadier General George Carnes in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, the high-ranking officer whose capture sparks the film's daring rescue. Beatty's Carnes is a stoic figure, central to the plot's urgency. He also appeared in 2001, A Space Odyssey, 1968, as a scientist and played a general in Superman 3, 1983, showcasing his knack for authoritative roles across decades. Shifting to his off-screen life, Beatty married Dorothy Steele in 1940, and they had 3 children, enjoying a low-profile existence in England after he moved there. However, natural causes claimed him on March 3, 1992, at 82, in London, England. Darren Nesbitt as Von Hoppen. Darren Nesbitt was born on June 19, 1935, in London, England. At 33, he took on the chilling role of Major Von Hoppen in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, playing an ice-cold Gestapo officer who nearly derails Clint Eastwood and Richard Burton's mission. His performance is a masterclass in understated menace. Nesbitt also delivered a strong turn as a calculating agent in The Naked Runner, 1967, opposite Frank Sinatra, and he soared as a pilot in the WWI epic The Blue Max, 1966, with George Peppard. However, like any Hollywood stars, Nesbitt's personal life had its ups and downs. He married actress Ann Aubrey in 1961, and they had 1 daughter, Carrie, before splitting in 1973.
Activities in this area, and if there are foreign agents, then I am to be informed at once.
Rumors of off-screen prickliness, fueled by tabloid tales, may have dimmed his star in the late 70s, but he kept working sporadically. At 90 years old in 2025, Nesbitt lives quietly in England.
Major von Hoppen, Gestapo.
Anton Differing as Colonel Kramer. Anton Differing was born on October 20, 1916, in Koblenz, Germany. At 52, he embodied Colonel Kramer in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, a ruthless Nazi officer and the film's chilling antagonist. Differing's icy glare and calculating demeanor made Kramer a formidable foe. Before this role, he was a go-to for German officer roles starring in The Blue Max, 1966, and Operation Daybreak, 1975, his intense performances leaving a mark on war cinema. However, cancer struck in his later years. He passed away on May 19, 1989, at 72, in Châteauneuf-Grasse, France.
Thank God you're here, Major. We were just about to...
Sit down, Colonel!
Peter Barkworth as Captain Ted Berkeley. Peter Barkworth was born on January 14, 1929, in Margate, England. At 39, he played Captain Ted Berkeley in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, a skilled commando crucial to the mission's success. Barkworth's nuanced portrayal added depth to the team dynamic. After this movie, he shone in British TV, earning acclaim in Telford's Change, 1979, and The Professionals, 1977 to 1983, his subtle intensity winning fans and critics alike. However, his personal life and his career are different. He never married, focusing on his craft, and was known for his gentlemanly demeanor. He died on October 21, 2006, at 77, in London, England, after a prolonged struggle. Donald Houston as Captain Olaf Christiansen. Donald Houston was born on November 6, 1923, in Tonypandy, Wales. At 45, he portrayed Captain Olaf Christiansen in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, a key commando navigating the mission's dangers with expertise. Houston's solid presence bolstered the team. He also starred in The Longest Day, 1962, and 633 Squadron, 1964, becoming a familiar face in war films with his dependable charm. Turning to his private life, Houston married Brenda Hogan in 1949, and they had 2 children.
Whistle up a Pathfinder squadron of Lancasters with 10-ton bomb.
However, a stroke hit him hard in his later years, and he passed away on October 13, 1991, at 67, in Coimbra, Portugal. Ferdy Mayne as Rosemeyer. Ferdy Mayne was born on March 11, 1916, in Mainz, Germany. At the age of 52, he stepped into the role of Rosemeyer in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, portraying a sly, sophisticated Nazi officer who adds a layer of menace to the film's tense atmosphere. His silky presence made him a perfect fit for the film's roster of villains. Beyond this wartime classic, Mayne is best remembered as the charismatic Count von Krolock in Roman Polanski's horror comedy, The Fearless Vampire Killers, 1967. He also popped up as another count in the German spoof Gebissen wird nur nachts, 1971. However, Mayne's personal life had its share of twists. He married Deirdre de Pyer in 1950, and they had 2 daughters, including actress Belinda Mayne, before divorcing in 1976. Later in life, Parkinson's disease crept in, slowly robbing him of his vitality. He passed away on January 30, 1998, at 81, in London, England. Victor Bowmont as Colonel. Weissner. Victor Bowmont was born on November 7, 1912, in Berlin, Germany. At 56, he portrayed Colonel Weissner in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, a stern Nazi officer who bolsters the film's roster of formidable foes. Beaumont's Weissner is a no-nonsense figure, his presence adding to the high-stakes tension as the commandos infiltrate the castle. Though a smaller role, his gravitas left an impression. He also appeared in the taut thriller The Night of the Generals, 1967, and the sci-fi series Moonbase 3, 1973, showing his knack for authoritative characters in both war and futuristic settings. Sadly, he passed away on March 21, 1977, at 64. Ingrid Pitt as Heidi. Ingrid Pitt was born on November 21, 1937, in Częstochowa, Poland. At 31, she played Heidi in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, a sultry undercover agent who assists Clint Eastwood and Richard Burton in their daring mission. Pitt's Heidi is a blend of allure and grit, using her charm and smarts to outwit the enemy, making her a vital cog in the team's success. Her exotic flair lit up the screen. She later became a horror icon as Mircalla in The Vampire Lovers, 1970, a seductive vampire for Hammer Films, and played another bloodsucker in The House That Dripped Blood, 1971. Now, let's uncover the woman behind the Gothic glamour.
The Alpine Rose.
Heidi. Stop, Major. I've got work to do.
Pitt's life was a roller coaster. She survived World War II, married 3 times, first to Lord Rowland Pitt Jr., then George Pinches, and finally Tony Rudlin in 1999, and had 1 daughter from her first marriage.
Beautiful singing voice, too.
Thank you.
Her fiery spirit shone through, but heart troubles loomed in her later years. She passed away on November 23, 2010, at 73 in London, England, from heart failure, just days after her birthday. Neil McCarthy as Sergeant Jock McPherson. Neil McCarthy was born on July 26, 1932, in Lincoln, England. At 36, he played Sergeant Jock McPherson in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, a strong, dependable commando vital to the mission. McCarthy's distinctive look made him memorable. He also stood out in Zulu, 1964, and Clash of the Titans, 1981, plus TV's Doctor Who, his unique presence a career hallmark. Off-screen, McCarthy's life took a tougher turn. He married twice, and he faced motor neurone disease, a cruel blow. He died on February 6, 1985, at 52, in Fordingbridge, England, from that illness, ending a career too soon. William Squire as Captain Lee Thomas. William Squire was born on April 29, 1917, in Neath, Wales. At 51, he portrayed Captain Lee Thomas in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, an elite commando adding grit to the mission. Squire's deep voice shone through. He voiced Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings, 1978, animated film, and appeared in many British series, his authority unmistakable. In his personal sphere, Squire married Juliet Harmer in 1967, and they had 1 child. Lung cancer struck late, and he passed away on May 3, 1989, at 72 in London, England, a quiet exit for a resonant talent. Brooke Williams as Sergeant Harrod. Brooke Williams was born on January 22, 1938, in London, England. At 30, he played Sergeant Harrod in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, a loyal commando aiding the high-stakes mission. Williams' earnestness fit perfectly. He also appeared in Anne of the Thousand Days, 1969, and The Wild Geese, 1978, often alongside pal Richard Burton. However, cancer cut his time short, and he died on April 29, 2005, at 67, in London, England, a poignant loss for his circle. Vincent Ball as Carpenter. Vincent Ball was born on December 4, 1923, in Wee Waa, New South Wales, Australia. At 45, he portrayed Carpenter in Where Eagles Dare, 1968, a minor but tense presence in the mission. Ball's subtle role added to the film's edge. He starred in Breaker Morant, 1980, and The Great Escape, 1963, building a long career in Aussie and British cinema. Now let's check in on Ball today. He married Lucy Wilson in 1949, and they had 3 children, enjoying a steady life.
I played more archbishops, bishops, cardinals, haven't played the Pope.
At 101 in 2025, he's still with us, living in Australia, with no major health woes reported, a living legend from down under. As we've seen, time has certainly taken its toll on the stars of Where Eagles Dare, but their performances still hold up as iconic moments in film history. It's fascinating to look back and see how far they've come, or in some cases, how far they've fallen. What do you think of the cast's transformation over the years? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.